mean, Patchwork has always been a place that's made up of a lot of different people, a lot of different perspectives, all kind of working together in an organization that's arranged loosely around the feeling of making this a community that everyone wants to live in and that's good for everybody. Patchwork is 41 years old this year. Patchwork was founded in 1977, and it was founded by 3 couples. 4 of the 6 members of those couples were ordained Methodist ministers, and they started Patchwork with the idea of being ministers to a neighborhood and not just a single church. And so they looked around and felt like this neighborhood in Evansville was a neighborhood that was a size that they could move into and hope to make a difference and make a change in that neighborhood. So they, one of the couples was already living in this area. The other 2 couples joined them. They bought houses in the neighborhood, moved in, started having house church on Sunday nights together, and then just started looking around and talking to neighbors and getting a sense of where they would fit into the neighborhood and what they could contribute to everything that was going on in the neighborhood. It was a struggling neighborhood in Evansville, and it continues. We continue to serve low-income families living near downtown Evansville. But that was kind of where Patchwork came from, and that idea, and that's where the whole idea started of sort of adjusting programming depending on who's around and what things they saw that they could do.
We are a faith-based nonprofit organization, and there is a worship community that meets here on Sunday evenings for a very informal style of worship. There's no single pastor or leader. People volunteer to take turns leading the worship service in different styles and different theologies in different ways. So that's always an interesting experience to come to Patchwork for worship, and then we always have a community meal, potluck dinner after the worship service, and then that worship community, several people also gather on Thursday evenings for a potluck meal. So we have community meal. Food is very important around here.
We also just are kind of here to listen to people, to offer resources if someone's looking for, they can't pay a veteran bill, that kind of thing. We look for resources. Today I had a lady that came in who's been one of our neighbors for years, and she was recently evicted from her home, and she has been sleeping outside, and she's a 55-year-old woman, African American woman who had a stroke several years back, and so I was able to call around because I know the shelters in the community and the people that run them, and we were able to find her a spot at one of the shelters. So we're actually taking her over there today and getting her set up.
We have a lot of different programs that we're known for. We're probably best known for our after-school and summer children's programs, and a lot of that is arts and education based. So we have a tutoring program where kids can work one-on-one with an adult tutor on their homework or whatever academic issues they might be having. For that one-on-one tutoring program happens, so we have it separated into the different cubbies for students and tutors. So little fun fact on the blueprints for the building, this was originally intended to be the chapel. And so when the worship community met in here, it's a nice little space, it's got the skylight and everything, but they just felt kind of too cramped, and they decided they wanted to hold the worship out in the main room on Sunday evenings, so they kind of left this space free. And then when we started up the children's program, they said, well, hey, this would make a perfect space for tutoring kids, so that's how it became the tutoring room. But originally it was supposed to be the chapel.
There was a special ed kid here that needed tutoring, and none of the tutors were able to work with him. So they called me to ask me if I would have time to volunteer, and I said sure, I would love to. And so that's how I originally got here. And so then once I was here and I started working with this kid, and then I started seeing all these things that were happening, and you fall in love with people. And when you fall in love with these people and get to have a personal relationship with them, it changes things. Patchwork Central, this is Sean.
Then also we have a lot of arts-based programming where kids will work on art projects, and that can be anything from ceramics and clay to painting to sculpture with found objects, all different kinds of things. We have a professional artist who's the director of our children's program, and artists that work with us, and Amy's also an artist. So one of the things I think is neat about that is the kids, the process of the artwork is more important than the final product, so the kids learn about teamwork and creativity and being an artist, and don't focus so much on that it has to look a certain way.
Pretty big show for you this evening, and we better begin. So I'd like for the staff here at Patchwork to stand up and wave. Can you hear my voice? Yeah. Okay. Miss Jane, could you come and be my microphone holder? Hi. Okay. And friends could place their hand here and hand here. Would you join me? Ready? Good. And we're going to put our sunshine to sleep. Can you put your sunshine to sleep and say evening? Are you ready? Good. Evening. And we're going to take our fingers like this, please. And this way and this way. Does anyone know what that is a sign for? Yes. Okay, let's try it again. Good. Evening. Friend. Take your pencil fingers in the sky in front of you. Can you draw a straight line and a dot? Can you put your arm in it and your dot? Can you wind it up, please, and say, woo! Over here, woo! Take two hands like this with your thumbs on the side. Cross your arms, please, and say it. Ready? Love. Love. We're going to put our hand here, and we're going to have something grow up behind us. Can you try it? Ready? Love grows. This is an adding song. Ready? One and one. And what did one and one make? 2 by 2. And what did 2 and 2 make? 4. So we go 4 by 4. One more time. Ready? Love grows. 1 by 1. 2 by 2. And 4 by 4. Love grows around like a circle and comes back knocking at your front door. And then you say, hello everybody. And I'd like to ask you that if I said to you, it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Does anybody know that song? Friends, this summer when I was asked to come, we've been focusing on being good neighbors and singing some of the songs of Mr. Rogers. But right now, I'm going to turn things back, but can you join me just a second? We're going to do that one more time, but we're not going to use our voices, we're just going to use our hands. Are you ready? You ready? So ready? Go ahead, ready?
We have a bike program, we call it Bike Recycle, so we take donated bicycles, volunteers refurbish them, and we hand them out to people who need them for transportation, especially if they need them like to get to a job, to go grocery shopping, doctor's office, just the things that they need transportation for.
And brakes and seats and handlebars and the drivetrain and then bike safety. And then the second week, everybody took what they learned in the first week and they practiced either on their bikes or they got bikes from us in the first week. The second week, everybody worked on bikes that are here at Patchwork that will be given out to people who need transportation. So it was a service project in addition to a learning time. And so these are all bikes that we fixed up for Patchwork to give out. And after the bike weeks, we had dance week. And came and taught kind of a dance sampler.
The bike shop was started because I was actually originally with kids, and it was started because one of our Mennonite voluntary service workers was, saw a kid taking his bike and throwing it in the dumpster and said, "Hey, why are you throwing your bike in the dumpster?" And the kid said, I forget what was wrong with the bike. It was something minor that could be fixed pretty easily. So this guy helped the kid pull the bike out of the dumpster, showed him how to fix whatever it was. I think it was maybe brakes or something, whatever was wrong. And out of that grew this whole bike program that then eventually morphed and changed and had different iterations, and now is fixing up bikes for adults to help them with transportation. We have our food pantry here that provides emergency supply of food once every 30 days to a household, and we're part of a food pantry consortium. We get a lot of our food then from the Tri-State Food Bank that the consortium purchases and we distribute, but we also take donations directly, so we get food and some other items donated directly that we can distribute.
It's really nice this time of year, and like in the summer, when a lot of the gardens around town are harvesting, because they'll bring in their excess produce and stuff, and people can come in and get produce and bread that we set out without a referral. So a lot of people in the neighborhood know that they can just kind of drop in and see what we've got and take that without a referral. So one of the things that we do at Patchwork is we have what's called hospitality in the mornings. And so hospitality is basically where people can come in to get out from the weather if they need to. We always have coffee, and if we have pastries from the food pantry, we'll set those out. So people can come in and get a cup of coffee and kind of hang out and visit and get out of the weather.
Yeah, Patchwork to me has been a great help. It's something like a lighthouse, because when I get up early in the morning, I don't really have nothing to do. And so when I come over here, I run into good people, positive people, and people checking on your health and pointing you in the right direction. So we need places like this.
Hi, Irma, it's Sean at Patchwork. And then we have showers in both of our bathrooms. So there's one men's shower and one women's shower. And so about, I'm thinking probably 10 years ago, we work with Aurora, and Aurora deals with finding homeless people places to live. And so it started out that they had one or two people that they needed to find someplace where they could take a shower. And so Susan, who's part of the Patchwork community, had called to ask if she could bring a few people in, and she did. And so from there it just kind of grew, and now we have this whole shower program where people come in, take showers. We have towels available. We have like little travel shampoos and soaps and things available for people to use.
We do a health ministry, and that's a lot is me. I'm a registered nurse, and we have another registered nurse who volunteers with us. So on Monday mornings, we're here taking blood pressures, talking to people about their health issues, and then through the week I can meet with people by appointment. I can also transport people to their appointments, like to their doctors, go into the room with them if the patient wants me to, and act as an advocate. I can be, another set of ears listening to what the doctor's telling them. I can help explain to them what the doctor's trying to say, and I can help the doctor understand, because a lot of our clients have a lot of challenges. They may be homeless, they may have mental health issues, they may have other issues, and it may be hard for them to explain to the doctor what they need to tell them. So I do that through the Sozo Health Ministry.
Oh yeah, Mr. John, he's a nurse practitioner, or whatever you want to call it. He checked my blood pressure. My blood pressure was high. And then we wound up, he took me to Dignus Hospital, and they referred me to a doctor, which that's another bureaucracy you got to deal with. So I wasn't prepared to deal with that. I thought maybe I could just walk in,
Take care.
get my medicine, and that was it. It don't work like that. You got to go through channels. And then if you don't have the right insurance, then they won't even talk to you.
Is that a luck?
They didn't tell me that. See, when I was at Dignus Hospital, they kept running me from building and building. Finally, she just told me, she said, if you ain't got the right insurance, how can you pay for it? So doctor didn't pretty much it was cut and dry what was gonna happen. So I just walked on out the door. But thank God for Patchwork, cause I wasn't conscious of my health. I mean, I was conscious of it, but I didn't have no idea my blood pressure was in a dangerous level.
There's a lot of people in this area that are part of Southwestern Indiana Mental Health Center patients, and so they have housing. A lot of them can live independently, and so they have housing in this area. And then there are also a lot of homeless people that we see that come in to use our services that are mentally ill. And I think one of the things that I really was not aware of until I came here is just the number of people suffering from mental illness that aren't able to get the services that they need. Some of these people are getting services, but they don't have places to go, things to do. So it's nice because they can come in here. It's a place where we know their name. We know that they're our neighbors. They can come in and drink coffee. They can get extra food if they need food, that kind of thing. And so it's nice to have a place like this in the neighborhood where people can drop by and feel like they're a part of something. And I really think people need to be aware of the stigma of mental illness and how so often the people that need these services can't get the services that they need and are forced to live on the street, not have access to, the food that they need, that kind of thing. And Patchwork is kind of a place of refuge for a lot of these people. And that's one of the things that I'm really proud of about Patchwork. My favorite part of Patchwork, I guess I'd have to say I just really enjoy being here in the mornings and working with people and talking to people, and just the social aspect of it is always kind of fun because you just meet so many different people from different backgrounds, and it's people that that had I not come to Patchwork that I never would have known in my lifetime, and I've met a lot of really wonderful people, and I've learned a lot. And I would say every day working here, no day is ever the same, and so every day I learn something new, and it's been very eye-opening.
Most of the camaraderie. Yeah. I like that more than anything.
Good to see you too.
Interacting with people. People tell you their problems, and you think you got a lot of problems, and then somebody else is always in a worse condition than you are. So I think we're all wonderfully blessed, because it could be a whole lot worse. I just like the interaction with people, interacting with people. Always been that way. All in all, it's been great. It's like a beacon in a storm, man.
I mean, I really like what Patchwork does on a community level, and that it really is this crazy, weird place where all kinds of different people come together and are valued and have conversations that they might not have anywhere else. It really is a place where all kinds of different people come in the doors and meet each other, and I think that is really important in communities in general, to have that kind of a place.
Just trying something, and my ability to use my nursing background and my ministry background to start the Sozo Health Ministry, just to be a person who's like a parish nurse but to a neighborhood, and just that ability to kind of take people's gifts and talents and connect them with the people who need those gifts and talents, and like Amy said, just kind of connect with all different kinds of people and hear stories that you wouldn't hear any other way. It's an amazing place, and so it's this amazing place of connection, but it's also a place that kind of takes risks. We try new things, we try things that don't always work out. And not all nonprofits kind of have that freedom to do that, and that's pretty amazing. So, and then the other thing I would say is the food. We have amazing food here. It's delicious. So.